First of all, how do you feel about the reaction that the film's been getting? Because it's been getting such an amazing reaction from everyone, critics and audiences.
Well, I think still, there've been previews and that seems to have gone really well, and the critics, it looks like they really like it, and they have liked it at festivals and stuff, but I feel like a politician now saying the only poll that matters is the poll that happens when the electors go to the... So the only thing, we're releasing on the 9th, and that'll be the one that sort of tells you how it's really going. But of course, I mean, I'm really proud of the film, and I want people to like it, so I'm happy so far.
Yeah.
And for both of you, what was it first that attracted you to the project? So the script and I suppose the character as well.
For me, it was I read an early version of the script quite a number of years ago, and it was just the sheer inventiveness of the script and kind of the challenge of it, because you read it and you go, this could be amazing, but it's also it's so hard to get it right, and it's hard to walk away from that. You kind of sort of want to do it because it's something I haven't seen. I haven't seen a film like this before, and that's an immediately attractive kind of thought.
Yeah. For you, for the character?
I just thought it was really funny, It was a way to do a film that was kind of anarchic and hilarious and a little bit dangerous, because the tone of it is mad.
Yeah.
And the challenge of taking that on was really attractive, because I think if you don't know if it's possible to do something, that's always a good thing to get involved in.
Yeah.
Because it's good to go to work in the morning like a little bit scared, a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
With a certain amount of control, and then getting to work with Lenny was a huge draw for me as well.
Was it difficult to play that character that was the calm in the middle of the storm?
Yeah, it is, because you want him to still be interesting, but by his very nature, he's not a very interesting man. But you want what he does in the film to be interesting, So it's a difficult thing to try and feel through and not be demanding attention, because that would not serve the film. So it was a little bit tough, but again, that's one of the challenges, How do you make a very boring man interesting enough to carry a film, And I guess the answer is you give him ambition.
Yeah, absolutely, and you let him learn something, and and also
out of his element, I suppose.
Exactly, you drop him somewhere else. So funny enough that even though Domhnall begins with a character that is the one who is the most ordinary in a way, whereas the band, when they arrive into his world, seem completely out there.
Yeah.
He then becomes the outsider in their world.
Yeah.
And, so there's lots to play with, and also you're serving the film, or every character is serving the film, and that's the kind of the glue, really.
In terms of the cast as well, did you always have an idea of who you wanted for these roles? So
we had only really started to think about that, about Frank, for example. We'd started to think about Frank and various kind of thoughts about it, but quite quickly, Michael showed his interest in it, and that was just, incredibly exciting, and added this dimension to a character who could, I think, have been a little bit cooky, a little bit sort of just a quirky sort of central performance that isn't in itself doesn't have I don't think that will really sustain you, but Michael brings this other dimension, this kind of energy, intensity, charisma to the character, and that was great.
Yeah.
And then with Domhnall, I followed Domhnall's career and really always wanted to work with him, so that was and then when we met, we just got on incredibly well, and I felt for me that was the hardest part to cast. Actually, the John part was definitely the hardest part to cast, and it was the first part that I cast, and then everything else could be built around that. And nobody else in the film, even though we have such great actors in it, there was nobody sort of more important than that. That was the kind of key thing to get right, and then you sort of knew what film it was going to be, and you could put people around him.
Yeah, sure. For the music as well, I mean, it was so important for you to have everyone recording their own music and playing their own music. Have you played before, or was it difficult for you to?
I could play the fiddle before, and hadn't for a while, but I could read music and stuff like that. So I guess there was a part of me that was able to do that. But then the keyboard is totally different, because both your hands have to do different pitch and different rhythms at the same time, which is completely different to the fiddle. So that was totally messed my head around. And I had a real panic early on. I was saying, you might have to think about changing him to something else. Could he be a fiddle player? And it was no, you'll get there. And Steve and Renix and yourself really showed belief that we'd get to where we needed to get to. And we did, actually, with time to spare in the end. And it was really, really good fun. I mean, just rehearsing as a band with those people is a crazy way to spend a day. But what a brilliant way to spend a day too,
And you talked about going out on the road. Is that going to happen?
Oh, I don't. I mean, no. I mean, that's.
You said you were thinking about it.
I think a John solo tour mightn't do quite as well.
That would sell out venues of as many as 10.
yeah.
15 people,
In
I'd
Dublin,
say.
where I've got
Dublin,
family.
yeah, exactly.
Smaller as you get outside.
I mean, the band can play, and if we can make it work on one of the, maybe one of the releases elsewhere or in the States, probably ideally, everybody would love to do it. It's a question of whether we can make everybody's schedules work and get everybody together for, I don't know, a talk show performance or something like that, because the band can't play.
Yeah. I told you before about this, but about the tone in the film as well, because it's quite quirky in parts, it's very sad. Was it difficult to get that balance across the board?
Tone is always the thing that's, I think, most crucial, and it's the hardest to define, and it's the bit that is really, in this film, there's a sort of, there are it's like a racetrack. There are parts where you're on a straight and you kind of know exactly what the film's doing, and then you're going to come to a series of really tight corners, and unless you take the right line through them, you can crash. And I suppose my sense is, if you really know what's happening in the scene and why it is that you want to show it, then I have always a faith that an audience will go with you. Sometimes you have to just pause it for a while. You just have to slow it up for a little while before you take that change. And that's the challenge. And of course, you shoot a film in completely crazy order. You don't shoot it in order. So sometimes you're moving around those tonal shifts all the time as you film. And for the actors, I think that's a big part of what the director does, is just to sort of bring everybody to where they're supposed to be for that moment, and then the rest is, you just hope you're right. You hope when it comes together it'll play. Yeah.
I have to talk to you about upcoming projects. You're working on Room at the moment. How much? I loved the book, so how much have you done on that, or what are you working on?
Well, we are working closely with Emma Donoghue, who wrote the novel, and she's adapting it. So the script is getting into good shape, and we've cast the lead adult, which is the mother character, Ma, and that's Brie Larson, who's this really great young American actor. And we hope to shoot, it's not that far away, we hope to shoot towards the end of September, begin shooting.
Yeah, it looks amazing, I can't wait for that.
Thank you.
Domhnall, in terms of Star Wars, you're probably going to get people wrecking your head about this for a while, but I mean, you're not going to be able to talk about it that much.
No.
But your memories and stuff, and how do you feel about being cast in it? Because it's obviously massive. I mean, Twitter went insane yesterday when we heard the news.
Yeah, it's just really exciting. The only thing I can have an effect on is the film that I'm going to be in, unless I get caught. Big possibility. Big possibility. A lot of stuff we shot in France didn't end up in. No, but that's the only thing I can really have an effect on. So really, my focus is just on doing the best job I can for JJ and for that film.
Yeah.
And so that's where my focus is, and really everything else isn't useful. Excitement about the way I feel about the films, how much I liked them before, all those things don't help me be good in this one. I've got a job as an actor to do. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on, is making sure that you make the most of the opportunity and give the film what it needs. Brilliant. So I hope I can do that.
You will. You definitely will.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Thanks a million.